we go again with another Death Curse Society Slash report. We're still doing this. Okay. The first episode, Ghost, starts with a 49-hour standoff against endless waves of zombies coming at the fortress. The heroes dispatch them, and then finally, at the 49th hour, one of the walkers comes up, turns out to be a whisperer, tells them they can meet Alpha on the hill at midnight. Before the meeting occurs, we find out Carol is having a hard time dealing with Henry's death. She's began to pop these pep pills, caffeine pills or something, and her behavior has become more than erratic. So when they finally get to the hill to meet Alpha, she lets them know that the Whisperers know our heroes have been across the border in her land. Michonne says it was only one time, and obviously, due to the fire, we had to. And Alpha quickly reminds her that there were 3 times, specific times, that they knew that our heroes were on their land. But Alpha says due to the context of the events, there will be no bloodshed, only a forfeiture of land, mainly the land where our heroes like to hunt and get their food. Carol is having none of this and says this is bullshit. Why are we even listening to her? And then that's when Alpha reminds Carol that Henry called her name as just before he was beheaded and put on a pike, which causes Carol to pull a hidden revolver and take a shot at Alpha, only thwarted by Daryl at the last second, and she misses. But Alpha says to Carol, mother to mother, she understands and forgives her, but you are on our land and you better run. And they start moving the border over the area. Carol begins to hallucinate and see very vivid hallucinations, to the point where she's alerting her friends that, look, there's whisperers here. They're here. They're here. There's walkers here. They're there. And they can find nothing. So basically, we're watching Carol unravel this entire episode. And it's a little disturbing. Daryl notes that Carol has not been the same since leaving that boat. Michonne counters, though, and says, no, Carol's with us. She's been with us. She'll be with us. And that's pretty much that. As Carol's tracking one of her alleged hallucinations into a basketball gym, she gets caught in a snare trap hanging upside down with walkers coming at her. But you do see there is a whisperer there, and Carol does shoot at them and hits one of them. The scene with Carol hanging in the gym like that, pretty tense with the zombies walking up. That seemed pretty helpless situation to be in, and very effective. Some of the other highlights of the episode were Negan and Aaron having some good exchanges. Negan still playing the mind games he is, or is he? Has he actually turned the page? Has he actually embraced the new community? Hard to say at this point. But he does tell Aaron that it was his fault that Eric was killed, which he reacts to, and it's your fault that your wife was killed, which Negan tells him to be careful. A zombie creeps up on Aaron just as Negan is telling him to be careful, and Negan has to save Aaron, as Aaron was blinded by some hogweed growing out of the zombie, and whatever. But they break into a little shack, and Negan was already in there. Aaron can't see, so Negan could have easily taken him out and didn't. Also, we find Siddiq is not doing well. He's having PTSD and said he felt very similar when he had finished his tour of duty in Iraq. It's Dante that recognizes he's having a bad time, steps in and covers for him so he doesn't, it's kind of a cool scene, like brothers, I got it, it was good. That was a nice touch. But the scene ends with one of the Whisperers, presumably the one that Carol shot, turning into a walker. So it's probably going to come back to haunt him. And that's where we left episode 3, Ghosts, right into episode 4, Silence the Walkers. This week's show focuses on Lydia, Alpha's daughter, her adjusting to life in Alexandria, and basically, her and Negan kind of have a natural connection because they're both hated. It was cool. It's neat. He gives her advice how to fit in and how to not let them get to her and how to get at them instead by killing them with kindness, kind of thing. It's hard not to like Negan. You know what I mean? I love Negan. I think he's a great character. I'd love to see him do a little more. Anyway, Lydia's being picked on by a few Alexandrians. Giving her a hard time because, it was her people that beheaded a lot of their friends. Understandable. Lydia even looks to Daryl for advice, and he just kind of says, can't you just avoid them, stay away from them, kind of the opposite, where, Negan gave a little more, at least, how to feel better about yourself. Come on, Daryl. Late one night, Lydia is walking around in the darkness of Alexandria and is accosted by the same highwaymen and one of their friends and start beating her mercilessly. I mean, she's begging for help, and it's Negan who runs in. He shoves the woman out of the way just to get him off of her. In the process, she hits her head and she dies. He kills her. So Negan is back in the jail cell, and now they're having a panel whether or not to execute him, give him a hanging. I mean, half the place still wants him dead from the events before, our heroes included. But it's a hung vote, and it's Gabriel who's going to have the deciding vote the next day. He wants to sleep on it. We see him walking around and putting deep thought into it, and then goes to talk to Negan and discovers that Negan has escaped. He's gone. Fingers are pointed and everyone is blamed, and it's Lydia who comes out of the house and says, "It was me, I let Negan out." And they put her in the cell where she feels safe. I think she wants to be in the cell. It seemed like she was just over everything else around there, doesn't trust anyone. But it's around this time that Michonne tells Daryl that the reason they weren't attacked and killed on the hill when Carol took a shot at Alpha last week was because of Lydia being in their custody. And as long as she's alive, it doesn't seem like Alpha and the Whisperers are going to come in there and kill them, which they could easily do, it seems, at this point. Also, we caught up with Ezekiel in this episode, and it seems he's had enough. And Michonne sees him riding off by himself and catches him at a ledge and realizes Ezekiel's about to end it all, talks him out of it, and Michonne and Ezekiel have a little moment, a little kiss, and realize they're probably not suited for each other, and decide just let's be friends and continue this fight together. So it was cool. A little bit of unraveling and then re-raveling, I guess, by Ezekiel. Good to see him back to his normal self. We know Michonne's leaving this show soon, and some of these scenes we're seeing, I mean, these are the ones we're going to miss, I think, when she's not around. But she's still here for now. Siddiq not doing any better this week either. His PTSD getting worse. This isn't going to end well. He's probably going to snap. And we kind of end with Alpha just saying they're biding their time, being patient before the big attack happens. We're setting up for a huge battle between our heroes and the Whisperers. It's probably going down here in the next few weeks. Get ready for it. The Walking Dead. It's starting to heat up a little bit. I wish they'd turn the heat up a little quicker, but this is what we're used to after 10 years, right? All right, man. That's it for the Slash Report. I'm Zig Zag, and the Death Curse Society is out. We'll see you next week. Woo!